Welcome, Phoebe effing Bridgers.
Thank you.
I am so happy that you are taking the time to hang out with us today. That is terrific. The new album Punisher has been in the world for a couple of months. What I love is some of the press that you're getting, Pitchfork giving it the best new music badge. You get so much good press. Do you read your press or do you like try to just tune it out?
Um, right when Donald Trump was elected, there's this news story that came out that he gets like a morning email of all his best press.
Oh no.
I think that'd be a big stretch now. I don't know how much good press he's getting nowadays, but that's what happens to me is like my manager and my mom read enough of it where I don't have to.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
great.
like I don't just go and cold read it. I'll read something if somebody sends it to me, but I try to close my eyes and just not pay attention because it scares me.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff out there, which is crazy. Although I will say, I read a quote that when your first album came out, John Mayer said it was the arrival of a giant.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good setup for your musical future, I think.
totally.
Oh man, so you got to play Red Rocks, but under really weird circumstances. So talk a little bit about what that was like.
Oh, it was amazing, honestly. It was like I think so much of the live streaming stuff has been kind of messed up. I did one that was running 2 hours late. I've tried to do it on Instagram Live and not knowing how to turn it off or, realized that my Wi-Fi was really bad or something. And this was just, it was the first time the band and I had ever played the songs together really. Like we'd done a little bit of rehearsing before we got shut down, but we definitely had not played a show for real of all the songs. So this was the first show, and it just went beautifully. It was amazing. Super surreal, obviously, but so fun.
I bet. Now, how many people, because you had more than just your band on stage, you had extra players, right?
No, I had my old touring band from the Stranger in the Alps tour, who I consider my band, and then this woman Odessa, who I met through our friend Connor Oberst, and she's in my band now playing violin, but she's the newest member, and it was funny because we hired her, and then global pandemic, no more tour, so
Right.
this is our first show with her too.
Now, with the Red Rock show, did they put people's comments up on the rocks for you to read?
I think they were supposed to, and they probably did, but they were behind me.
Okay,
So I could see later, but I couldn't really see while I was playing. It was wild.
well, because I was going to ask, that seems like it would be really hectic and sort of take away from the experience. So
Totally. I think they were trying to make it like more of a community, gathering sort of thing.
right.
But I mean, when you are playing to nobody, you have no like reference point for who is watching. So it was really fun because I got texts from all types of people in my life who live in all types of different time zones and whatever, that all, quote unquote, came to the show. But there was something really funny, which on a big like jumbotron in front of me at one point, it was like, look behind you, there are comments. And I was like, that's so scary.
Oh no.
So I was nervous enough even just to play the songs for the first time. So I just tried to focus on not messing up.
Okay. And the footage of it is beautiful. It's kind of really haunting. And keeping with that theme, I love your album artwork. And so I want to talk a little bit about the guy that shot those photos. So that is Olaf Grind. How did you guys connect?
My friend Emily is friends with Olaf. I think they met in an art school or art class in New York. And he's an amazing Swedish photographer. We went like nude bathing together in the beginning of the year. He's just like an adventure seeker he's so inspiring. Actually, his music is amazing. I think he goes under Luminous Kid, and he's just an all-around artist.
That's amazing. Now I want to get back to his photos, but would you ever work together with him musically, do you think?
Totally. Yeah, he makes really sweet music.
Awesome. Now, is he the one that thought of the photo shoot? Because those pictures look so surreal, but it's California, right?
Yeah, he thought of the photo shoot. He told me of a place I think they're called the Trona Pinnacles, and I'd never heard of them before in my life, and I grew up here, and he's from Sweden. So yeah, he does a lot of research.
And so you got to shoot in the middle of the desert, in the
Yeah.
middle of the night.
Yes.
And did he, because I know you did 2 shoots. The second one you went back with the skeleton suit. When you saw that first set of photos, were you like, oh yeah, this is it?
Totally. Yeah, I think I was wearing a white dress, and I think I just wanted, because I guess I was thinking about the album cover, but I hadn't had the skeleton idea yet. And then once we did the skeleton shoot in London, actually, I flew Olaf to London to shoot with me, and we did the skeleton ones, and I was like, oh, this has to be, we have to go back to California and do it again.
Nice. And speaking of the skeleton onesies, how many do you have? And
So
is it your go-to gift for your friends?
yeah, for sure. They're really cheap and they're great. But I'll just like I'm just throwing them away kind of at this point, because once you play a couple shows in them, it's just like gross. So yeah, I have a ton of skeleton suits.
You know that there's somebody out there that wants one of those.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
you've
I
just,
should auction them off to weirdos.
yes, you should. So speaking of weirdos, I think you and I have a similar podcast in common, which is My Favorite Murder.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So it's Karen and Georgia, and I love those 2 women. And I read that Connor Oberst, actually, when you were writing your Halloween song, that he had the idea of murders from Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Did it ever happen? Was there ever an episode on My Favorite Murder?
You know, I don't think they might have mentioned it in passing, but I don't think they've done a full episode. It's just a really sad story. I think it's actually happened at in San Francisco and in LA at Dodger Stadium, where a fan will, like, fans of opposing teams will get in some vicious fight.
Ooh.
And end up killing each other. And it's so sad. And it just also just so ridiculous. Like, it's sports. I can't believe they're adults. You know, it's just one of those ridiculous, like, fluke accidents. I say accident even if it's on purpose, because nobody in their right mind or in a lucid brain would ever do that. So it just, like, it's so sad and messed up, you know, like all somebody wants to do is go to a baseball game. So yeah, I had been talking about it a lot and I listened to a lot of, like, My Favorite Murder. I was listening a lot on the Better Oblivion tour, and Connor was just like, turn this off. Like, I can't listen to any more murder stuff. And I talk about murder all the time. And so when I was trying to come up with a verse for that, we were hanging out, and he was like, it should just be that thing that you're always talking about the fan at Dodger Stadium. I was like, okay.
Great idea.
Yeah.
And so in working with Connor in Better Oblivion Community Center, does he tend to be like, so he's not the murdery type, mopey, sad, really, you know, I feel like you tend to lean towards musicians that are sort of that wrenching feeling. Was he that way, or were you guys kind of light on the surface?
Oh, he's like the most light on the surface dude, but very brooding. I think he's afraid of death in a way that I'm not. Like, of course I'm afraid of death, but I feel like he has like if I think about it, then it's way more real. And I have the opposite impulse, which is like, think about it as much as possible, and then it's not real anymore.
Right.
But yeah, he's definitely not like a brooding emo guy. He's like, I mean, my drummer always says this because he said something really funny once. He said, when I die, tell everybody I say what's up. He's like a bro. He's a bro.
Okay, total bro. And in the brooding category, how about Matt Berninger from the National?
The opposite of brooding. He's like a teenager adult in the best possible way. Like, I think if you played Frisbee with that guy, he would burn you out. Like, he just loves like a practical joke, like messing around. Like, the amount of times that I think I know where he is, and then he's like outside doing something ridiculous, or like a cartwheel or something. Yeah, it's amazing. He's the best.
And the song that you guys did together is this beautiful, you know, sort of thing, but for the movie Between the Ferns. Like, what a crazy combination. How did that come about?
Well, Matt hit me up about it and was like, I wrote the song with my wife, Corinne, for the Between Two Ferns movie, and we think it should be a duet. Are you down? I was like, absolutely. And then it was the most fun 2 days ever. And then the creator, Scott, came in and was like, you guys should just play it in the bar scene. Like, let's do it. Absolutely. Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And had you done anything like that, like video, TV, movie wise?
No, I was in commercials when I was a teenager, which is funny. It basically paid for my rent while I was making my record and going on tour, because I was definitely losing money on tour and making a record. So yeah, but never as myself.
Okay. So you're a teenager doing that. Did you ever have another job outside of music? Like, did you get to do typical teenage, like I worked at a restaurant kind of things?
No, my best friend worked at the movie theater and would sneak me in, but I never got a cute job like that. She also worked at the Hollywood Bowl for a summer. That was really fun because I got to go to those. But no, the closest thing to a day job I've ever had was busking every weekend while I was in high school. But again, that's for tips and kind of soul sucking in itself. But it let me practice a lot, which is amazing.
I bet. And it's still music, which is amazing.
Exactly.
Now you've morphed from, of course, music, but now you're producing also?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how this comes to be.
Yeah, so I had a really great time producing Boy Genius and Better Oblivion. I was like, oh, I think that I want to do this but it has to be something I feel really, really strongly about, as if it's my own music. So that's the weird fine line, is like, if it's not my own project, it's rare that I feel, 4,000% invested or even trust myself to do it right.
Right.
So the only person that I wanted to produce afterwards was my friend Christian Lee Hudson, who writes, I think, my favorite songs ever. He's just like, today's Randy Newman, John Prine. He's just like such a good songwriter. So we made his record in Sound City, and I think it turned out great.
When did that wrap up? Was that pre-COVID?
Oh yeah, that was December was that 2018? Oh my gosh, that's wild. I think it was December 2018 that wrapped up, and then we just were looking for a place for it to come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you been able to help him, sort of pushing that out with your success now?
I hope so. I mean, we took him on tour with Better Oblivion. I show everybody that I meet his music because it's so, so good. Yeah, but he's like one of my best friends.
That's awesome. Like childhood friends or?
No, I want to say we met was it right before my first record came out? Right around my first record coming out, and just hit it off like so immediately. I made him come on tour with me and play bass, which was really funny.
I love that. You made him come out on tour. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, because he doesn't play bass. Like I asked him to play bass. He was like, okay, fine, whatever. That's great.
Like, you can learn. You got plenty of time. That's awesome. Oh man, I feel like we are running short on time, so I have to wrap up with you. Last question. Do you prefer solo? Do you prefer getting to work with your pals? Like, if the world was back to normal, you get to go out on the road. Are you going on the road as you or with a group?
I mean, if I could tour with anybody right now in the world, I really do think it would be Boy Genius, probably, just because that was such a fun tour, and we got to play all our own solo sets. But I can't wait to tour Punisher.
Okay.
Most excited about I feel like at some point it'd be great, but who knows, maybe in 100 years when we're all like cryogenically frozen and the pandemic's over.
That'll be the new tour, the cryogenic tour.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the defrost tour. All right. Well, thank you, Phoebe Bridgers. Best of luck. I want to see you back on the road as soon as possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. Thank you, Harlan.
Hey, no